Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If this is your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you represent. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the like, smash up the like, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. Family, man, this is one of those really? Yeah. The Nolan Wells case has taken another unexpected turn. Now, Nolan's Wells' mother, Christine, is being accused of obstruction of justice. But what exactly does obstruction mean? And what does that mean to the investigation? And even more, family, where do we go from here? Joining me right now is attorney Jack Paul Murray to break it on down. And who better to break it on down than the man who accused Christine Wansley of obstruction of justice? Man, what's going on, Jack? I thought we was making some progress yesterday.
We did, So I think yesterday and today can be simultaneously true. I don't think they're independent. I don't think they're tethered to each other. I think yesterday's discussion was valid, and I stand by it. I think today's stands as well, and they can both coexist. I have alleged Christine, not of obstruction of justice, but of the investigation. Yes, obstruction of justice is more of a criminal charge. I'm not going that far with her, but of the investigation, yes, I think.
Well, you said obstruction of justice on your video.
Okay, I'm going to check. Then I misspoke. And if I said that, I'll stand by. That's what I said. But really, it's the investigation. Justice goes more towards a case being filed. So, but definitely obstruction of the investigation at a minimum. Yes.
And what drew you to this conclusion? What exactly did this grieving mother do, who is simply trying to get answers for her deceased son? What did she do to make you come to that conclusion?
Yeah, for me, it's what she hasn't done. Again, everything I'm going by is reports I read, videos, right? I'm not independently verified it. My understanding, even going from the statements made by her team, or Nolan's team, is that she has not turned over Nolan's phone to state investigators, to law enforcement. The closest I could find from her side of it is that she has agreed to do a simultaneous examination with her own independent team at a time that the state investigators want to do it. That's not the same thing as saying she turned it over. She's not turned it over. She's not giving it to them. She still has it. And she's trying to dictate the rules of how a criminal investigation is done.
Well, if they haven't asked her for it, they know she has it. If they haven't asked her for the phone, how could she be obstructing the investigation?
Right. So I don't know for sure that they have or had it. I'm going to presume they have asked her for it. Everyone's been talking about that phone since day one. Everyone's been looking for answers. They've made an open plea to the public. If anyone knows anything, has anything, please come forward. So I cannot say for certainty they have or have not definitively asked her, but it seems there have been discussions with the prosecutors about it. Otherwise, how would she make this statement about, I'm prepared to do this with them? And even if they hadn't asked her for it, which I'm going to presume they have, because why wouldn't they ask her for it? Why hasn't she just given it to them?
Where's the line between a mother simply demanding justice and interfering with the investigation?
Again, I think both of those can also coexist. I think they can be the same time. She's still a grieving mother. I don't take that away from her. I don't take her pain away from her. But if she wants answers, if she wants the state investigators, the people who are dedicated to making arrests, right, who we have entrusted, who we have employ to make arrests, to make charges, if they want them to do their job in the way she wants them to do it, it behooves her to give them this phone. If for no other reason, again, I've said this yesterday, it gives the state investigators an out. How can we even possibly tell the public we've completed this investigation when we know there is potential evidence out there and we are being kept from it? We can't paint you a complete picture because we're not being given all the pieces. That's on her.
Well, I think if that was the case, the investigators would absolutely say that, because the investigators know, the state knows that the majority of civilized people are against them. The majority of the people are against them. The majority of the people do not trust them. So if they had anything that they thought that could remotely impede the investigation on that was coming from the side of the family, I think that they would make that known immediately. I do not think that they would withhold that type of information.
Except that, to your point, how does the state, with how rightfully critical we've all been of them, I've been critical of the state as well, how do they come out and attack a grieving mother and accuse her of not being helpful? Like, they're already losing here. The best they can do is not go public with that. Say it internally. Contact Mr. Crump, contact the Fed, say, look, we really would like this. If anyone is going to lose the court of public opinion, it's going to be the state. Okay, they cannot win that. There's no benefit to them doing that. And the issue is the state can't force her to turn it over at this stage. They can't compel her. You know, if she was a defendant, let's say, if she was accused of a crime, they could then go to a judge and ask for a search warrant to obtain the phone because they believe it's in evidence of a crime. They don't, she's not accused. She shouldn't be. I'm not saying that. So they don't have that avenue, and they can't even establish there is a crime. And if there was, again, like for them to try to obtain it via subpoena, there has to be some kind of open suspect. Their hands are tied procedurally in what they can force her to do. I would not want them to do that because, again, it will just look bad for them, but they have no recourse to compel it. It's hers. We don't know what happened. They can't just take it from her.
Okay. Moments ago, you asked, how could the state attack this grieving mother without pretty much being attacked themselves? And I say that they can do that by their inability or lack of interest in going after people who are threatening the mother, who are threatening the father, who are threatening the family. There are a lot of people out there making threats towards Christina and Elmore, but ain't no arrest being made. But they were quick to go out and make an arrest. They got 3 arrests so far for the other side. So right now, if we're playing a game of horse, it's 3-0. You know what I'm saying?
You're absolutely right.
3-0.
I mean, no, you're absolutely right. The state carries a lot of blame in this. The investigators, the prosecutors, the elected officials we spoke about. This Jackson County as a whole has a lot to account for. That's on them. Christine has this moment, this opportunity to just reinforce that, to show how open and transparent she could be. We are demanding transparency from the county. We should. And she has an opportunity to really stick it to the show. Look, I have nothing to hide. For everyone who is outright defending the other young men, the suspects, right, who are outright have just said without evidence that they are innocent. I've not said that. I don't know. But to those who defend them, here's an opportunity to say, look, I have nothing to hide. Here it is. Let's get to the truth. Let's find the answers. I want this investigation to proceed. I am being as cooperative as I can. She's not being that way. I don't blame her as a mother, but if she wants this investigation to really go forward, She does not get to dictate the rules of how a criminal investigation is conducted.
So that means that the state have all the chips and they get to decide. They made the game. They get to decide how the game is played. That's pretty much what you're saying.
At this stage, that's what it is. We spoke yesterday about, I made a comment about fighting fire with fire, and you had a great counterpoint of it's not fire. You fight fire with water or fire with earth. You take a different approach. I've seen a lot of comments online about that the state has been just as withholding for whatever reason, whether you agree or that. If she is going to play their game, who's winning that right now? If she's going to play the game they're playing, for those who want justice for Nolan, that is not the winning approach right now. You don't have the leverage to do that. You're right. The state, the government, the legislature, they made the rules right now of how investigations are done. This is not a civil investigation. It's not a civil case. This is a criminal investigation. The only people who get to really be involved, first and foremost, are the prosecuting authorities, and secondly, are attorneys with their defendants. The only way she would be in a position to demand a simultaneous co-investigation, co-examining of the phone is if she was a defendant and her attorney said, I don't trust the government because you're trying to prosecute my client. And when you look at it, I want to look at it with you, because not just do I want to find what is there, I want to find how you came to get there. That would be the right of a defendant and their attorney. She's not that. She doesn't have that, it's called standing in the law. She doesn't have standing to make this demand. She can request it. I don't blame her for that. As a mother, of course you want to know, but you have to let you can't go and say to a detective, when you go for the ride to interview a suspect, I want to come too. And that's what I felt like she's doing. She's saying she wants to be along for the ride and ghost the detectives. I get the sentiment. It doesn't work that way.
What's the likelihood of Christine being charged?
None. I don't think she's going to be charged because, again, one, there's been no crime alleged by prosecutors and by detectives, right? Mm-hmm. And so for her to be charged with anything, and I think even if someone said she committed a crime, if the state thought to charge her first, could this get any more backwards? I mean, you would really talk about a civil revolt at that point. To the extent, I don't think she's criminally liable for anything. I don't think that. To the extent anyone did, and she's the first arrested, like Mississippi doesn't have enough problems. No, you even if you thought she was, you cannot do that. That will never stick.
Well, Mississippi is crawling with uncivilized mutts, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did do something like that. They have absolutely no shame, no scruples, no honor whatsoever. So these people, all they do is pretend to be of polite society, pretend to be law-abiding, pretend to be Christians, pretend to be good, decent people. It's a big old play. It's one big old play. But on the inside, on the outside, man, these people are the most wicked people on planet Earth. That's right. I said it because I know you. I studied you. You understand, man? I studied you. I know you well. I know you well. Let me ask you this. Okay. We talk about, what Christine might be charged with or whatever, but what about people like you, Jack, who may have falsely accused Christine of obstruction? Could they face legal consequences? Could you, Jack Palmieri, face legal consequences for falsely accusing Christine Wansley of obstruction?
Listen, I'm liable to get accused every day in my work. I get accused by everyone, by prosecutors, by judges. That's the nature of what I do. I'm so beyond the concern of that. I'm not saying definitively she has done. Again, if I said justice is really the investigation, she's not To the extent I said justice, I did not mean it in a criminal sense. I don't believe that. To the extent someone took offense to that, I apologize for that. But I don't think she actually committed a crime here. I think she's hurting her wishes, her own wishes. I think if she wants the transparency, if she wants the answers, she could be more forthcoming with this stuff. She doesn't have to, so I don't fault her for that. That's her right. She has no obligation to hand it over, so that's fine. To that point, the only evidence, because testimony is evidence, the only evidence we have that anything was removed from the phone is her testimony. Because no one else has seen the phone. She's the first one to have it after the children, so the adults. So you could say one of the other young adults did it. Someone else could say maybe she did it. None of us know.
Well, the authorities don't necessarily need the phone to know what's on that phone. No, they can go straight to the phone company.
Yeah, but that won't tell you
transcripts.
If it's like the old SMS text, now with iPhone, I don't know what device he had, but the current iPhones, the current Google phones, Samsungs, they all have self-encryption. Even if you're not using a WhatsApp or any of these other encryption apps, that's one of the things. That's why you always hear outside of this case, governments making the argument that the tech companies should build in backdoors because they cannot independently get into the phone. I have another case down in Florida here. People don't realize is when they have a search warrant for the phone, it's for the physical phone. You don't have an obligation to give law enforcement your password, which is why I always counsel people, never use fingerprint ID on your phone and never use Face ID on your phone, because all someone has to do for law enforcement is this. And you've opened your phone for them.
Hold on. Let me change my settings right quick on this. I cannot have this happening to me.
Okay. Because it's a form of self-incrimination. You want to get in the phone, officer? You get in the phone. Oh, the tech company won't let you? Not my problem.
I'm not going to help you.
That's it. You don't have to.
They won't let you. I won't help you.
That's it. So I am curious how Christine got into the phone. It's possible she has her son's password. If they had a close relationship, I'm not going to rule that out. But I'm definitely curious how she would have had access to it. Presumably, it would have been locked if he had any kind of lock on it. Most young adults do, just because you don't want to do a butt dial and that old school stuff. So I don't know how she would have gotten in to even say, and then to know things are missing. Like, how do you know things are missing? Like, it brings up a lot of questions. There could be some very innocent answers. There could be some answers that just don't fit certain narratives. The only way I could see her being in any kind of hot water is a planting of evidence. I don't think she's done that. I hope she's not done that. She has a very smart people around her, so she probably knows by now that would be a bad idea. But because obstruction of tampering with evidence means you took something away, right? Something is incriminating someone, and you destroy that to not incriminate them. For those who think these young adults are innocent and the phone may have something to incriminate them, she could get, she holds on to it. You're going to have people accuse her of saying, you put that there. Just like I've been very critical of the audio recording, right? I've given you a hypothetical how that sub dialogue in the background could be there. Christine is inadvertently just raising more great defense issues. If I'm a defense attorney, which I am, if I'm representing anyone in this case, I'm harping on the victim's mother held onto the phone for no less than 6 weeks. She claimed to have access to it. No one else had access to it. She claimed to know that items were missing. Well, how did she know that? Like, was she in her son's phone the day before? Again, this is what I would do as a defense attorney. I'm not on this case. I don't represent anyone. I don't have a dog in this fight. But if she wants the answer she's looking for, she could choose to do more for it. And for those who are outright defending the other young men, the easiest argument is you're not turning it over because you know there's something in there that exonerates all these other young men, and you don't want that to come out, and that's why you're holding it. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no need to go
That
there.
ain't true. That ain't true, man. That ain't true. That ain't true. If there's going to be any charges, any legal charges, it should be on the other side. Absolutely. That woman is just doing the best that she can in the wake of the tragedy that happened to her family that was discovered on January 6th. On July 6th of 2026. The people who are acting way more suspicious to me are the so-called boys who are really men who are on that boat. They're acting more suspicious and weird. Even their lawyer is acting weird. Okay, I think we're spending way too much time on what Christina Wells is doing and not enough time on what these men who were on that boat with Nolan Wells are doing. In regards to the evidence, what is one piece of evidence that you think that people are lending too much credence to?
Let me think. For the one that's too much credence to is, that's such a hard one, because again, there's been nothing definitive to sway where we think the investigation is going one way or the other, that we're all just so wanting to hang on what we have. I guess I'm still most concerned about the second round with the audio. That one really bothers me.
You think? Because when you talk about the single greatest piece of evidence that we are privy to, that phone call to Cito is indisputable. You can try. I guess you can dispute anything, but they can't get around that phone call. They can. What did Warren say? Oh, they're just listening to this enhanced phone call. It's just crazy. Enhance means to magnify, right? That's a good thing, right? To improve, to better. And he's upset that people are asking questions. Like, we're asking the same questions that any friend should be asking. Like, why are they so upset that people are asking questions is what I want to know. Like, he's Nolan's friend, and I'm asking more questions than he's asking. I don't even know Nolan. Never met him in my life. So, but I'm asking more questions about Nolan than he is. I'm interviewing more people. I'm talking about this way more than he is. I'm publicly saying, yo, Nolan Wells, I believe Nolan Wells was murdered. If he wasn't murdered, show me the evidence. Prove me wrong. But give me something, because I do not believe Nolan drowned.
So to that point, if you're asking me from a defense standpoint, what piece of evidence out there am I most concerned with if I represented anyone in this case? The piece of evidence I absolutely I'm very unhappy about are these interviews. I've said it with you repeatedly, almost every time you've had me on. If I was their criminal attorney, what have I always said? Point blank, I tell them to shut up, say nothing. I'm like a broken record. What your attorney says is a legal argument. What the defendant or the accused says is a statement that can be used in court. They are locking themselves into a story that they don't have to do that. And now they are giving ammunition to everyone else to analyze and criticize their statements. And now if any inconsistency anywhere comes up in anything they've said, if I was on the prosecution side, If you find a lie, you found a liar. Because what do liars do? Liars lie. If they lie about the little things, they will lie about the big things. If they get caught telling you, Willie, that we caught 3 bass, and in fact they caught 2 bass, you lied. No, it was a mistake. Was that what you call lying? A mistake? What else did you have a mistake about? Did you have a mistake about what happened to Nolan? You just crushed them on inconsistencies. And then they're going to have nowhere to go. They're going to stutter themselves right into a hole. I hate that they're giving interviews because, from a criminal standpoint, from a defense, because they don't have to be doing it. They are never going to win public opinion either. They're not going to do it. What are you doing? You're being accused by everyone who does not have a shield, right? What is the purpose? Because you're being defamed? Shut up. Go home. This investigation is not over. Okay? You could inadvertently walk yourself into an arrest by saying something that you don't know is inconsistent with some video from some house or some camera footage or some other forensics. This is why investigators don't release their findings, because you have suspects making statements voluntarily on the record, right? And then the investigator will go pull that rabbit out of their hat and nail them with it. This is the flip side of why the police don't show their cards during an investigation. They don't want suspects to know where they're at. It hurts for the rest of us. You don't want your culprit getting the heads up. I don't understand, even from a civil point, why any attorney is letting them make these interviews. It's mind-boggling to me. That concerns me.
Okay, listen up. Listen up. Warren, Will, Wyatt, the 3 W's, Bart, Morgan, Jax, all of y'all, and everybody else that was on that boat that haven't revealed yourself. Don't listen to this guy. Do not listen to this guy. Y'all keep talking. Y'all got the First Amendment right. Say whatever you want to say. Keep talking and put your story out there so we can hear what you got to say, man. Y'all need to keep on talking. Just keep on talking. Don't worry about what that lawyer's saying, man, because these lawyers don't know everything, man. They don't know what's in your heart. They don't know what's in your heart. Speak, man. Speak your piece, man. Y'all going out there and keep on going on Race Batum Tatum show and tell them what you know. Stand up for yourself. Don't be all scared now. Don't get scared. Keep talking. Y'all keep on talking, because we wouldn't know any of this stuff. We wouldn't even know how you feel unless you talk. So we need to hear you talking more. Y'all need to talk more. In fact, I think that y'all should eat pizza while y'all talking, because when you eat pizza, you tend to, pizza is a discussion food. I'm just telling you, pizza is a discussion food. I think y'all should eat some pizza and drink Coca-Cola, something like that. I say Coca-Cola, but then again, y'all don't have to drink Coca-Cola. Y'all was drinking from what I understand, that y'all was drinking on the 4th of July. So go on, your favorite drink, man, whatever gets you relaxed, whatever would get you relaxed and in the mood. Get you some drink and get you some pizza and just talk, man. Share your feelings. Pour your heart out, man. We're going to listen. I promise you we'll listen. Now, you mentioned analyzing evidence, Jack. What's a detail? What's a detail that has not really been analyzed that needs to be?
The phone call from the young man to his brother. I don't understand why I'm not hearing more about that. Or take it one step further, the call the mother made to law enforcement. Why has that phone call, typically if you call 911, all the radio runs, all the calls are all recorded. I mean, we had a CTO call recorded. The 911 call, I will never accept it wasn't recorded. I'll accept if you told me it got lost or destroyed, but don't tell me it wasn't recorded in the first place. And don't tell me 24 hours into this case, someone didn't go looking to make sure it got earmarked either for preservation or for an accidental delete. I don't know. Why have we not heard more about that? You know, at this point, a lot of times in high profile cases like this, you'll see a lot of things leak, right? A lot of things will get to the press. It's been a really tight ship over there, right? They've kept this very buttoned up. I very much want to see people pressing more about the 911 call, because that would tell us exactly what law enforcement was told out the gate. And there's so many different ways that call could. It also gleam into, again, it's a filtered call. The mother, who's a judge, who's a lawyer, is calling on behalf of her own son, who I've always said that would have been my first suspect. That always would have been my first suspect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The mother, absolutely. But what are they doing? Instead of investigating the mother, they're going out finding people who may have threatened the mother.
Right. Right.
You know, so that speaks volumes. That tells you, you know, what time it is. That tell you what time that they're on. When you look at this entire situation, how she injected herself into this case and how she put out a statement, how she made, so she told her son, hey, be quiet, scrub your email, scrub your socials, get off. And I'm sure, I bet you $1 to a donut, she picked up that phone and she called those other mothers and fathers and told them how their children should be behaving going forward. I guarantee, I bet you $1 to a donut she initiated that. And all of those calls, all of those text messages, all of their phones should be brought into discovery. Every single one of them. When you look at this case, when you think about this case at this stage, what would concern you more about the evidence? The investigators. Would it concern you more about the evidence that the investigators haven't found, or the evidence that they found but they're not acting on yet?
It's tough to answer, only because, again, we don't know for certainty what they have and don't have. So I will answer it in a way of how we've seen them publicly react to certain things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't guess as to what they haven't found, but again, go back to, I haven't heard about pressure on the son and his mother. I haven't heard that how many times they were interviewed, how much they've cooperated. You notice he's not giving interviews. You know, he's getting defamed. He's staying pretty quiet about the whole thing. He's taking it all in stride, right?
Who is?
The son who called his mom, the son who called the judge.
The son? Oh, no, he's not. No. The judge, that's Warren. Warren, he's talking. He's doing the most.
Okay. I want to see more pressure. Put more pressure on the judge. You know, the judge as an attorney, that we're always told as lawyers, we have certain 24-hour, 7-day-a-week ethical obligations, right? Like, I'll give you a classic example. If a client comes to me and he says, I murdered someone yesterday, past tense, it's attorney-client privilege, I am not allowed to say that. If he tells me, I'm going to kill someone tomorrow, okay, he's now told me he's going to commit a crime. I have a certain ethical obligation to report that to authorities. I cannot condone, I cannot, further a criminal act, right? There's this distinction there. Past tense, it's protected. Future act, I'm supposed to report. I'm supposed to. Whether I would or wouldn't, I couldn't say, because I've never had that conversation. But, depending on what that call was, if the call was Nolan's in trouble, maybe at the time of the call, Nolan wasn't dead. Wouldn't you have certain obligations to Nolan, to the family, to people outside your son? If the call was, I think Nolan is dead, don't you have certain obligations to the preservation of the scales of justice, right? The idea that, at all times there is evidence. As a judge, you know that, and you're just letting it literally wash away, right? Where does that line, where does that line end? I don't know what the answer is, but I've not seen anyone push her on that enough. That's, what I'm concerned with. We're so focused, with good reason, on the boys in the boat. We've become unfocused on almost everything else. And I keep saying, don't rule anything out yet. Don't rule anyone out. Don't rule any no possibility has been ruled out. Why should we? It's all in play.
And speaking of it all being in play, I'm going to tell you straight up, I think the investigators need to be investigated. I think that the local coroner needs to be investigated. The state coroner, the state medical examiner needs to be investigated. I think the judge needs to be investigated. Nolan's so-called friends who left him on that island absolutely needs to be investigated. I think all of them need to be investigated because I think all of them are on the same page and they're all playing for the same team. But let's just say, hypothetically, everybody woke up tomorrow morning and decided to tell the truth. What's that one question do you think will crack the case wide open?
Everyone didn't tell the truth. Everyone took a truth serum. Like, it takes one question to one person. I want to talk to Warren. I want to talk to the kid who made the call to his mom. I want to ask him, don't tell me what you told your mom. What did you see? I want all the details. Where were you? Where was Nolan? What time was it? What were the conditions like? Who else was around? What was going on before that? How did Nolan get to that point? How did you get to that point? I want you to paint a picture so crystal clear that I can see exactly what you saw in your mind. I want you to give me all I want to know how many blades of grass were on the floor. I want to know if the sun was coming up or setting down. I want to know how much you had to drink, how much anyone else had. I want to know. I want you to paint a picture of that moment that you think to call your mother. You don't call police directly. You call your mom, who happens to be an attorney. So they probably had that discussion once. So listen, son, you ever get in trouble? You call me first. I happen to be a lawyer. You didn't call 911, which would have been otherwise like the normal good friend thing to do. 911 was the emergency. My friend's in the water. My friend's dead. My friend got killed. I don't know. Whatever you told your mom. Why don't you tell police that? What were you thinking at that moment that you thought, I really got to make a phone call. Yeah. It's really important. And I'm really not going to call the police. I'm going to call an attorney.
You ask him, tell me whatever you told your mama. And this is the way I would approach it. I put each of them in separate rooms. And I would say, tell me what you told your mama. And I tell the mama, tell me what Warren told you. Tell me what your son told you. Boom. Those two, they're not ready for that. They are not ready for that. Now, they got their story together, but they're not ready to tell the story separately like that. And one of them are bound to, see, Warren is a weak link. Warren talked too much, and he's trying too hard to be convincing, but at the same time, he does his first interview with zero emotion. Man, do you know if he repeatedly called Nolan his best friend? Let me tell you, man, I got a couple of best friends, right? If any one of them, if something happened to any one of them, my life would not be the same because they are best friends for a reason. Everybody don't get that distinction. This is best friend. This is out of 8 billion people in the world. These are my best friends. This is my best friend. If something happened to him, I'm going to be crushed no matter what. But if I'm with him, or if I was just with him, man, I'm going to be beating myself to death trying to figure out what I could have done differently. I'm going to be beating myself to death trying to figure out who did it, who done it, how did it happen. I want answers, and I'm going to get answers. Oh, yeah, I'm getting some answers. And ain't nothing going to stop me. None of this internet bullying, none of this trolling, none of this lawyers with this defamation lawsuits and all this. None of that is going to stop me from seeking justice for what happened to my best friend. And I'm absolutely not going to be interviewed and be able to just keep it all together for 30, 40, 50 minutes. Ain't no way. You're asking me a range of questions. Now, granted that those questions were controlled, I'm sure they went over those questions prior to the interview. So he got a bunch of softball questions in the first place. But that was enough that he did say that would have triggered my emotions, that would have altered, my emotions. Like, okay, I'm here, and then I'm here, then I'm going back here. Like, it was enough there, and that interview was long enough. Even if he didn't ask me certain questions, just the way the human mind thinks. This is where I need Elliot at. Just the way the human mind thinks, I would be thinking, I'm here, I'm doing an interview. My best friend is dead. It's surreal. It's unbelievable that I'm actually here talking about my best friend dead. Man, being accused is like insult to injury to me, but it ain't the main thing that I'm defending. I ain't even that smart. I'm not even that smart to just put my personal interest. I'm not that smart to put my personal interest ahead of my interest for justice for my friend. I'm not even that smart. I would just be like, man, ain't nothing you can do to me that ain't already been done, bro. It ain't nothing you can do to me. My partner is dead. Like, I don't even feel alive, really. Anybody that's ever lost somebody that's close to them know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't, bring it, whatever you got, come on. You know what I'm saying? Bring it. So I don't get this, this attitude that they have, and they think that we're somehow slow. I believe Warren is a weak link, but he's not the weakest link. The weakest link is one of those other ones who are not talking. Because that's what happened, right? A lot of times, the one that's the scariest one, that's your weakest link. The one that's scared to lose everything, scared of going to jail for real, and he's probably the one who ain't got as much as some of the other ones got. See, the rich kids oftentimes, when they commit crimes, they do bad stuff all the time, and the money get them out of trouble. Their parents' connections get them out of trouble. They're connected. How many times have we heard about rich people, people dying around rich people, and rich people never going to jail? They don't even go to jail. So, what's the difference here? Let's say you got that file today, right now. Let's say you got the Nolan Wells file today. You got the files today. What's the first thing you're looking for?
I'm looking for the interviews. I want to see what everyone said. And then I'm comparing the interviews. If John said he was with Peter, did Peter say he was with John? Or did Peter say he was with Nancy? And Nancy said she was with, him. And look for inconsistencies. Because you can't just have the evidence. You got to cross it all together. You look for I want it all. I want the interviews, because the interviews are done by people, and people are fallible, and they'll lie, and they'll make mistakes, and they don't know what you know. And When they try to cover it, it shows. And when they lie, it shows. I want the interviews, and I want to see, what cream's not rising to the top.
Yeah.
Or I want to see who lawyered up.
Yeah. So when you look at when you look at the interviews and you think about what Warren said and versus what the lawyer said, the lawyer said that Warren and the guys called CETO. I mean, not CETO, called the Coast Guard. Well, they said they didn't need Coast Guard. Now, this is the lawyer. I can get the client making a mistake because they're not trained. They ain't went to school for all of this kind of stuff. They're not locked in on memory like that. But the lawyer making that type of gaffe,
So for me, it's the inverse. The attorney has the out. The attorney, because again, what the attorney says is not a statement. It's an argument. I'm putting it forward. I make mistakes all the time. I'm sorry. I mistook for the other case I'm doing.
Gotcha.
I said left.
Gotcha.
I meant right. I didn't live it, Your Honor. I wasn't
Gotcha.
there. Right. But the kid's making a statement. They're locked in. That's
Gotcha.
why you only let the lawyer talk, because I can disclaim it. I can disown it. They can't.
Yeah.
And when you see the two of them tell different stories, now it's a problem, because one of them is wrong.
Right. Right.
Maybe someone should do a hot box interview with them. That'd be interesting.
Well, at this stage of the game, man, I don't really see a lot happening, for the family as far in terms of justice. I don't see the pathway. The sheriff is not interested in justice. He already said we don't suspect foul play day one. Hadn't examined the body, hadn't read any official reports. The governor himself said, hey, no foul play. By his own admission, he hadn't followed the case. He knows nothing about the case, but he yelled, no foul play. Now you got the medical examiner who sends the body to DC without the most critical organs that is needed to provide an answer for what may have happened, or the manner of death, right? The manner and cause of death for Nolan Wells. And this is a medical examiner with a sordid history of dropping the ball for Black victims Black victims who were suspected of being killed by white folks in Mississippi. So when you put all of that together and you put together that you had all of these people on Horn Island, many of them who was filming these people coming and going, even some people took their phones out to film altercations. None of these people are coming forward with this evidence. They're silent. You got a $125,000 reward out there, and nobody's come forward to claim it. I think we might have to up the ante on that. I'm gonna look into that, because y'all pay attention, fam, because I'm gonna do something about that. We're gonna do something about that reward money, because I think that if you put enough money out there, this is America. And it was built on capitalism, built by Black folks on capitalism. And I think capitalism, built America. Capitalism is going to destroy America, because Americans put too much focus on money. Everything is about money, 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 money. You got people out here that kill a mama for some money. They'll kill their children. They'll kill their parents. They'll kill their best friend. They'll kill their spouse for some money. And then you got people out here that'll kill each other for sport. They will kill people for sport just because They want to know how it feels to take life. Man, we got some work. We got our work cut out for us, man. Do you ever think along those lines, Jack, about how how things are and how is it possible for us to bounce back as a society?
I think about it only every day. We've touched
Mm,
on it. You and I are both fathers, right? Um, I'm worried for us as a species, we're all fellow humans. Yeah, it worries me a lot. I have to have hope because you and I we're a little longer in the game, right? Our kids will come up after us. I don't want there to be something good for them, for all of them to have together. Um,
mhm.
Again, I've said repeatedly, it's terrible what happened to Nolan. Whatever happened, and if people are responsible, they should be held responsible. But whatever happened, it is heartbreaking to me that Nolan's not with us. I'll tell you what, as we're getting to a wrap here, I've never heard anyone anywhere say one bad thing about Nolan, right? Nolan has never been challenged. His integrity, his just whatever heart he had, no one's ever said a bad word. I can't imagine what a great kid or young man, I'm sorry, he must have been to be around. All the
Yes.
pictures, he has this great smile. He's in sports. The pictures he's in with other people, he seems jovial. Um, to me, that's terrible. You, you know, you, whatever happens in this case, people get arrested, charged, convicted. Christine and her husband, they're never getting them back. If there's a civil suit and they get money, you know what? Good for them. They raise money, good for them. I hope they get tons of money because the money's never going to replace. You ask any parent, they'll give up all the jewels in the world for their children. All this, everything we're doing, you and I, it doesn't close the wound. And I'll leave it to Elliot. I adore Elliot, man. I love what you have on your show. He can talk it better than me, but I'm just talking as a parent, just as a guy. I'm from Brooklyn. I came up and I've seen things and done things, and I've seen things happen to people. And now I just, like I said, I just want to protect, those close to me, my friends, my family, my kids, and I want us to be able to get along because we're all stuck here together. Life is too short. You don't know that when you're young, and then as you get the gray hair and, life really, it's precious, this reminds me that no day is a given. Every day is a blessing. Every day, just cherish it. Be thankful for those around you. Be good to people when you can. Being good doesn't cost anything. Hold the door for someone, say thank you or excuse me, just little things. It's a butterfly effect. You don't know what little gesture makes such a profound impact on someone else and they pass it along. I've done a few other podcasts with people much younger than us, and they said, thank you. I'm like, thank me. I'm like, someone gave me an opportunity. I was young. Someone helped me when they shouldn't have. And now I'm in a position to give it back to younger people. And I try to because we're all in it together. So, but I'm hopeful. If the good ones can't give up, the good ones cannot give up. That's how tyranny wins. We cannot give up on each other. We cannot give up on this planet we're on. We got to stick together. Yeah, there's some bad ones. Yeah, some bad things will happen, whether it's on a global level, a local level. We got to stick it through. We got to have hope, and that's where I come out.
Well said, my man. Well said. Ladies and gentlemen, Jack Palmieri.
Willie, thank you always so much. My pleasure.
Absolutely. My man. All right, fam. That's my time. Make sure you smash up the like before you walk out the door, fam. Hit that like button. Don't cost you a dime. You dig what I'm saying? Don't cost you a dime to help me chime. All right. That's it, fam. I got more videos coming today. I actually got another exclusive coming a little bit later today. So y'all make sure y'all tune in for that. We're moving forward, fam. We're marching forward. It's a big fight, but really ain't got a choice. Till next time, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world.